Really embarrassing confession. My senior year of high school, I joined my school's business club. I attended every single meeting, began dressing like a preppy princess, and even traveled all the way to Florida for nationals. All of this with very little interest in business, but a big interest in the president of the club, whom I did in fact have a huge crush on. Yes, I'm ashamed. I don't know why I said that. All of this to say, I've had my fair share of moments when I fell victim to the lie that the only way a boy could ever like me was if I morphed myself into his dream girl. If the above scenario hits a little too close to home for you, I want you to have mercy on yourself because let's face it, as humans, our greatest desire is to love and be loved. But the irony is that sometimes we just have the unique tendency of allowing our ambition to get ahead of ourselves in this beautiful pursuit. But spoiler alert, you are good. You are worthy of love without compromising a single part of your personality, your hobbies, or your appearance. But that being said, the temptation to do so can be pretty intense, so let's go ahead and break down those 3 common temptations of changing our personality, our hobbies, and our appearance, and just speak truth into the reality that you are enough. So let's start off when it comes to our hobbies. So I recently met a man who shared with me the story of him and his wife's first date. Let's call them Michael and Kayla. Here's a quick summary. So Michael was a big sports fan. He had amazing ringside tickets to a hockey game, and he excitedly brought Kayla to the game. But midway through, as he was having the time of his life, Michael turns to Kayla and he just sees her mumbling random words like progressive and Little Caesars, Gatorade, Planet Fitness. And he then realized that in her extreme boredom, she resorted to reading every advertisement that surrounded the rink. I thought it was a hilarious story, but I was kind of hung up on the detail where Michael ends up marrying this woman despite her disinterest in a huge aspect of his life. But he shared with me that even though Kayla doesn't find sports to be entertaining, she's now the one who hosts the Super Bowl parties like it's no one's business, and she's the one who drives their kids to hockey practices. And she especially loves to share in the communal aspect of the sport, although she has no idea what's actually happening in them. So you see where I'm getting at with this? This is what love is. Love calls us to do radical things like partake in our beloved's favorite activities when it doesn't necessarily interest us, but it never calls us to lie about what we enjoy. If it takes fibbing this entire resume of interests that the other person likes in order for you to be desirable in their eyes, they don't want to date you. They want to date themselves. A fruitful relationship calls both persons to enter into some of the things the other person enjoys, even if you don't have overlapping hobbies. And other times, a fruitful relationship can look like someone being entirely content with having a hobby being a solo passion for them. And that is okay. But let's move on to the temptation of changing your appearance. So let me take you on a hypothetical scenario. So you like a person, you're on their Instagram profile, you're scrolling through, and you get down to that past relationship post, and that's when you see a photo of their ex who you may look entirely contrast to. Your mind races to the, oh, they have a type assumption, and unsolicited thoughts just start rushing in. Maybe I can bleach my hair or get a fake tan, or maybe I can just start wearing less makeup and be more outdoorsy. Maybe I can start dressing more provocatively and work out. Stop. If our bodies make visible the invisible, the spiritual and the divine, then it's also true that it reveals the utter beauty of who you are. Your appearance, the way that you portray yourself, is a reflection of so much, and you were created with intention, so there's no need to change. Let's move on to the final temptation of changing your personality. When it comes to changing our personality, as tempting as it may be to see another person who inspires us and just entirely morph ourselves into who they are, there's only one person who we are called to mirror, and that's Jesus. And I know that sounds so intimidating to literally imitate God himself, but we do have an earthly example of someone who did this perfectly, and that was Mary. The nearer we draw ourselves to her, the closer we get to her son. So how can we perfectly emulate Jesus in the ways that Mary did? St. Louis de Montfort actually breaks this down super simply for us by listing the 10 principal virtues of Mary. Mary possesses profound humility, lively faith, blind obedience, continual prayer, universal mortification, divine purity, ardent charity, heroic patience, angelic sweetness, and divine wisdom. So meditate upon these and ask our Lord to better help you resemble these. He'll give you so many opportunities to practice the profound humility or ardent charity that our beautiful lady possessed. Ultimately, regardless of which vocation you're called to, your future spouse, your religious order, even just your friends deserve to be in the presence of a person who is fully incorporated into the person God has created you to be, yourself. Is that a wrap?